if our viewers have taken the subways in the past, you may be familiar with these machines. You can buy tickets through this machine. And we can take a look at the tickets. This is the first day's ticket. You can see the route, the direction, and all the stations along line 1. And we can also see Yellow River on this ticket. Some people have traveled to Lanzhou, some people may not. Lanzhou is the only capital city in China that goes across Yellow River. Above the stations, we can see the landmarks of Lanzhou, Wuquan Mountain, and the White Pagoda Mountain. And this one is the White Pagoda. These are the icons in Lanzhou. Hello, Mr. Yang. We can see, apart from line 1, there is another mark here. It's the line 2. It looks like the 7 stars. And this is also laid out in the plan of Lanzhou City's underground plan. The line 2 is under construction. The first phase construction of line 2 is undergoing, but now only line 1 is under the first trial. And we can take a look at this device. And this is the whole map of the subway. This is the first phase construction of line 1. And we can see we start from the west Chenguanying station to the east, which is Donggang station. Basically, this is the way from the west to the east, and this is the main way of the subway. We also have some sub-roads, sub-routes, but this one is the main stem. Some of our viewers may be not familiar with Lanzhou. Lanzhou has very special geological situation. We can see the Yellow River. And on the north and the south, there are mountains. In between the mountains is the Lanzhou city. We know that the narrowest distance in between these mountains is only 1 kilometer. So we can see from the west to the east, there are more than 20 kilometers, but from the north to the south, it can be as narrow as 1 kilometer. But after this line 1's operation, it will be very convenient to the public. And we also know that this is the first rail transit in China that goes across Yellow River. Let's take a look at these 4 stations. It's from the southern bank of the Yellow River to the northern bank of the Yellow River. So in the northern bank of the Yellow River, there is only one station, that is the Lanzhou City College Station. Is there any similar rail transit in the country that also go across the Yellow River? No. It's rare to see. It's common that the subways go across rivers, but for Yellow River, this one in Lanzhou is the first one in China. These are very 2 unique elements. One is Yellow River, the other one is subway. And today I will show you the stations crossing the Yellow River, and I will review more details after we arrived at that station. Just now, I got that we can buy the one-off ticket here. How about the price? For the ticket fare, we integrate we consider the local income, and we also consider the general practice of the country, that is the segmented pricing method. Currently, this is fair and reasonable, and it also saves money. Just now, I bought the ticket. I found that the base fare is 2 yuan. If you want to go to the furthest place, like from the very west to the east, it costs the highest price. But for the other stops, they are decided by the segmented pricing method. And we can see the price is reasonable. For me, it costs 3 yuan for me to go to work. And the subway saves time. And the timeline is fixed for the subways. So we can know the time when we are on the subway. And it takes 45 minutes for the whole journey. How about taking the bus? For the general traffic, it takes 2 hours for the same route. Yes. Currently, in the country, in the subway system, the speed per hour is 80 kilometers, but they will stop at stations. So this speed is not quite high. But the most advantage of the subways is that it's punctual. The time is fixed. And it's green, it's environmental protected. If you take the bus, if the traffic is fine, you may arrive at the destination on time. But if the traffic is not good, it may take time. Now we are passing through the security check. Okay, let's queue up and wait for the security check. And we can see it's quite fast. And this is called the public area, non-payment area. After you go into the luggage, it will be the payment area. If you can also stay here and walk here, even if you don't take subways, because this is the tunnel area. It's the non-payment area. Let's look at this machine. There is a screen on the machine, and there is area for scan QR code, for swiping the card. I downloaded the relevant app. Let me try it. This is called Lanzhou Rail Transit. You need to register your credit card on the app, and then you can swipe the QR code. Actually, people are familiar with WeChat or Alipay, but why don't you choose that app? We considered WeChat and Alipay, but because time was so limited, We are still working on that, and we will try our best to put it into reality. This is the hardware. And dear viewers, we are now doing the 4G live broadcasting underground, but we can see the signal is quite good. And even if you want to send a WeChat message to your friend, the signal is quite strong. Yesterday, I took the subway and I found the signal is also very good. Just now, apart from buying the ticket, I also bought this deposit card. The color is blue, and there is the white pagoda mountain, Wuquan mountain, and the other icons of Lanzhou. And here is a small mark, writes the joint transportation card. It can be used in many cities. For the cities who have started this function, you can use it. I heard that we can use this in Beijing. Yes, and it can also be used on the buses. Okay. Please. Let's wait our cameraman. Just now you see that young guy made his wrong way. In the morning, I also found people are not so familiar with this machine. Why? Actually, this is quite common, no matter for the subway or for the train. But this is the first line of the subway in Lanzhou, so our people are getting familiar with the machine, but they are not yet too familiar with it. For taking the subway in Beijing and Guangzhou is quite common. But for the other suburb cities, people are not so familiar with it. So I think it takes time. But for the young people, they will get familiar with this transportation very soon. But for the elderly or for the people who haven't taken the subways before, it may take time. And for these occasions, our workers here will help them. Are these volunteers? Yes, we recruited volunteers in order to help the crowds of passengers. So once we have entered in the payment area, we can meet another expert, reporter Chen, and she is from Lanzhou radio station. 5 years ago, I've joined this project. I've reported this project, so I know some details about this rail transit. I heard that every time after an important report of the Lanzhou rail transit, you will send some WeChat posts. So today we will follow your steps. Let's start. And we can see some marks and some tips here. Over the past 2 days, I interviewed some people, and I was here. I found that it's quite convenient to transfer the subway. It's different from the big cities' subways because in some big cities it takes a long way for you to transfer to another line. This station is special because it's a transfer station where you can transfer to line 2. Behind this wall will be the transfer area for line 2. So this station is also on trial. Dongfanghong Square Station is a trial station. Because it is the transfer station, so we also will do the trial run here, the trial transfer here. And we can also see the public area is very big. And also because there are many people taking subway from this station, that's why we make it the transfer station on trial. We are all pursuing the better life. That's why we have this accessible elevator. As today marks the first day of the trial operation, as you are also a native Lanzhou person, can you tell us your feeling? Firstly, it makes our voyage, our life more convenient. Due to the geological limitation, the buses cannot meet up the modern demands of the people. Because it takes time and takes efforts to construct this subway. Yes, but the citizens can understand that because this is quite a large and comprehensive project in Lanzhou City, so people understand that it takes time to construct this. I heard that the total investment of the first phase construction of Line 1 is 20 billion yuan. Speaking from nationwide, is it high or low? For the first phase construction of Line 1, it cost 750 million yuan per kilometer. It means that it cost 750,000 yuan per meter. And we count these, and we add other costs like the equipment cost or the water or the electricity cost. In total, the investment is 19.8 billion yuan. It is actually among the mid-level nationwide. Because in Beijing and Shanghai, the subway costs much. And currently, the prices are similar nationwide. In the past, we heard that it cost 100 million yuan to construct the expressway per kilometer. That is very high. For the expressway, they don't need so many experts from different backgrounds. But for subways, we need people from different professional backgrounds, and we need materials which cost much. And because we called on and we invited experts nationwide, so Lanzhou subway integrated new technology, and it does not lag behind from other subways in the country. People who take subways in Beijing may be familiar with Line 1 or Line 2. In the past, the conditions were so limited, things were so simple on Line 1 and Line 2, and there were no security barriers. But because Lanzhou subway is very new, so what is the characteristic and advantage of Lanzhou subway? We did research on the preliminary plan, and later on we make them into practice. We integrated a series of key technologies and new highlights which can reach national class or world class technology. So you mean we are on the basis of the top technology? Yes. I find it's very interesting that the design is very special. Can you explain on that? And this is the security barrier. This is similar to the big cities with subways. Above it, we made it unclosed. But for some cities, you can see the doors are closed. But ours are not, because above this door is the ventilation system. Usually, in the subways, the ventilation system is the air conditioning, but for ours, we use different technology. We did research and discussed on this. We know that in Lanzhou, the hottest season lasts for only 1 month, or even 10 to 20 days. And also, the air is very dry in Lanzhou. So we hope to lower the temperature while making the passengers comfortable. So this technology can help moisturize the air. Because we use this water vaporing and cooling system. And this also saves money. Because usually if you use air conditioning system, it takes more money. And because our system is to cool down by using the different temperatures of the between water and the air. So this is quite economical. So how much money can it save by replacing air conditioning? We will make this comparison afterwards under the same conditions. And we can see the next one will arrive in 4 minutes. Yesterday, we heard from the press conference that For the longest waiting time, it will be 8:30 minutes, and for the shortest waiting time, it will be 4:30 minutes. Why is there the difference? Because it's still on trial, and there are still problems. So we cannot send out the subways too frequently. After 3 to 4 years, the gap will be 2 minutes. And now for the peak time, the time difference is 4:30 minutes. And for the common time, the time difference is 8:30 minutes. So not only the passengers are here for the first time, but also many workers. Yes. I know that your station, your radio station is just beside this station. What's your feeling? Firstly, Dongfanghong Square station is the largest station along the route, and it's also the transfer station for Line 2. And we can see the design. It has the characteristics from both the west and the east. It looks great. For many passengers, we hope that firstly we have seats, and secondly we have the signal for our cell phones so that we can watch videos or chat on apps. I think the signal is smooth here. If you want to watch some videos or send message on the WeChat, these are all accessible. Maybe sometimes if you go through the tunnels, the signals may be poor. Dear viewers, I'm CGTN's reporter, and I'm now doing the live broadcasting in Lanzhou City, Gansu. Today marks the first day of the trial operation of Lanzhou Rail Transit Line 1. And we've got our guest, the Vice Director of Lanzhou Rail Transit, who is also the Chief Engineer, and Ms. Chen Jing, the reporter from Lanzhou Radio Station. And let's get on the subway. Previously, I heard that in total there are 20 stations. For first phase of Line 1, at the preliminary stage, there are 13 vehicles on the tram. And this station is the central station of the 20 stations. In the west is the Chenguanyin station. When the subway starts, it's not so stabilized. Yes, because the vehicle is the shape of I and it's long. Currently, there are two types of the vehicles in China. One is A model, one is B model. We talked with many experts, and we considered the geological situation and also the passenger flow of Lanzhou City. We chose B shape. Just now we were reminded that because today there are so many passengers, the signals may be poor. So when we arrived at the next stop, which is Xiguan Station, according to the plan, there is one more station between Xiguan and Dongfanghong Square. That is the provincial government station. Dear viewers, just now we passed through the station which hasn't been on operation, so the signal was poor. Sorry for that. Okay, we are arrived. This is the Xiguan Station. Let's take a look at its characteristics. It's cool. Have you been here to Xiguan? Yes, for people who are born in Lanzhou, we love this place, especially in the nights. You mentioned two places. I've been there too. I did live broadcasting there. The first one is the night market, where gathers the different flavors of Lanzhou, Gansu, like many milk, eggs. Women love it. And we can also take the bakery, meat, and beer. That's to the north. If you go to the south, there is the Zhongshanti Bridge. The stage of Xiguan also integrates the elements of Zhongshanti Bridge. Once you get out of the station, you can see there is an arc of the exit that looks similar to the bridge. And we can see the color is also different from the station of Dongfanghong Square. Can you introduce this to us? The whole plan of Lanzhou Rail Transit are to build 5 lines. For each line, we want to make it a demonstration for scenic sports. Line 1 is called Yellow River, and line 2's element is the scientific technology. So for line 1, all the pictures along the stations can represent the elements of water. So this can show that here is a city of water, and the people are diligent, and people are relaxed. We can see this light. It looks like the water from the Yellow River. And for this water wheel, some people may be not familiar with it. Water wheel is very common here. It is a machine, it is a tool to absorb the water from Yellow River. Above us is the water wheel. After we arrived here, I heard that it is quite difficult to build the station from Dongfanghong Square to Xiguan. Yes, because Xiguan is a commercial area with flows of people. And there are many high buildings, high skyscrapers here, like the shops and high buildings. So these two stations are quite important. We must set up stations at these two areas. But if we want to connect these two places, we need to design many S-shaped routes, because it's not a direct line between these two places. So the whole way is made up of many S-shaped routes. In this way, the connection of these two stations are two S-turns. This is quite difficult because the stations are just below many high buildings, so we were so vigilant and careful. Yes, this is the same problem faced by other big cities. And I also heard that the special geological situation in Lanzhou also lay great difficulty on the construction. Yes, you really know about that. Because from the west to the east, the Line 1 of Lanzhou can be divided into 5 sections. One is between Dongfanghong Square Station to Xiguan Station, because the ground is full of red sandstone. And this is a great challenge on constructing the subways. But because Lanzhou people are diligent and smart, so we smoothly finished this construction, conquered the challenges. For us who are not familiar with the geology, we don't know about the sandstone. For the red sandstone, if there is no water, no wind, it is stable. But because we need to dig the ground, once you start digging, there will be wind and water, and then the red sandstone will become the sand. So it is similar to digging the holes in the tofu. You can see how it is difficult. So without water and wind, it is hard. But with water and wind, it becomes very soft. For other cities, if you dig the sand or clay, they are all clay. But in Lanzhou, if you dig the same clay, there may be water and wind. It's softer. Is there a similar machine here to the previous station? Apart from the red sandstone technology, okay, 98.1 yuan left. And we can see people are queuing up because they are making for their preferential card. So apart from these common cards, are there any preferential cards? Yes, we have cards for the elderly, students, and others. You are holding the standardized card. it will have 5% discount. But for the cars of the elderly or the students, they have different preferential policies. Now, we want to approach this because many people are concerned about this. We just saw this map. We know that the line 1 of Lanzhou goes across the river for twice. But why we heard that it's actually 4 times for it to go across the river? Yes, because there are 2 more tunnels. You see, this upper one and this downturn one. Okay, in order to make our audience understand it, our director will show you a video and introduce this technology and challenges while crossing Yellow River.
PJI 2项目包含一站2区间，分别为
includes several sections from the Olympic Station to the Century Avenue, and it has more than 3,000 meters. And there is a central pit, central well. There are different skills used during this digging. And it includes different measures like the structure and construction area, which will lay the challenges on the construction and requires high on the organizational skills and construction skills. The diameter is 6.48 meters. And it goes across the Yellow River by the upper ridge. It goes from the east to the west. And there are about 370 meters below Yellow River. And it passed through the riverbeds of Yellow River. And the conditions of the tunnels are quite difficult because there are stones and water. And there are many stones behind the river, which are scattered widely. The machine's diameter is 6.48 meters, and there are 125 knives on the machine. Inside the machine, there are pipes. With these pipes, it connects with the machine on the ground so that it will transfer the clay and mud to the ground and also send the clean water to underground. After a while, this pipe will be longer. They will extract this pipe. Because it's movable, so that it can meet the demands under different conditions. And this digging area is just beside the knives. And about 2/3 of the working area is full of the clay. By adding the pressure, the machine can operate. And this pressure can also help maintain the balance of the machine. The things dig out will be dealt by this machine. Some of them will be dissolved. Some of them will be sent to the bottom. The bigger stones can be made into smaller ones. In order to achieve the best clean results, there are several clean mouths to spray on these stones. And there are also protection covers. Okay, dear viewers, after watching the interview, some of the viewers may be familiar to the construction of the subway. And now we can watch a picture. So our chief engineer can explain on that. Dear viewers, good afternoon. You can see on this photo are two beaches of Lanzhou. These are called the three beaches of Lanzhou. In order to include these three areas, we use different technologies because these areas are below the Yellow River. So we did research and certification on choosing the places of the stations. There are two bridges in between the stations. That's why we did a comprehensive research and work. We also considered other conditions. We talked with the Yellow River Commission, and all of our actions should be approved by them. So we know that at the upper reaches, the construction are more convenient. This special method is used at most stations of Lanzhou Line 1. It's more simple and it saves time. And this shield method is commonly seen for the underground construction. Just now, the video also talked about the pressure underground, especially below the Yellow River. Sometimes the pressure difference exists. Yes, the condition was quite comprehensive while the shield machine was working, and there were huge risks So we adopt the water mud balanced shield method. Under the Yellow River, it is of high pressure and big stones. Okay, let's take a look at the third photo. That's the section of Yellow River. Can you explain on the geology? So the blue line is the surface of the river. While crossing the Yellow River, we need to confirm the level of the water, which needs a very precise calculation so that makes the security, ensure the security. It's about 29 meters from the water bank. So this figure is calculated. Yes, it's the most economical and the safest figure. For the two sections crossing Yellow River, one is about 340 meters, one is about 400 meters. I did interview in 2016. I heard that it takes time to dig this distance. Yes, because sometimes we need to update the machine, so it takes time. For Lanzhou City, Xiguan is not only for the tourists, but it's also very convenient in transportation. Xiguan has a main bus stop of Lanzhou. Do you often transfer here? Yes. I transfer here to West Station to Anning. It's quite convenient. So people from the east will transfer here to the west, and people from the west will transfer to the east. And now let's take a look at the transfer area. For Xiguan Station, especially the construction, what's your impression? I heard that the pipeline change is comprehensive for this station, because there were different pipelines underground. So what will you do with these pipelines? Firstly, we move these pipelines, and we did some adjustments on the pipelines, especially for the old ones. So actually, most of the time are not spent on constructing the subway, but on other things like removing the things. Yes, because when you construct the subways, it will require many conditions from the society. I heard that this technology of the subway construction has also been spreaded to nationwide. Yes, because the pipeline change method is also very common. Okay. Due to the signal limitation, we cannot arrive to the furthest place. We can only show you one station. Yesterday, I talked to the Bus Corporation of Lanzhou. According to their words, they said that the Line 1 of Lanzhou Rail Transit will take people from the east to the west. This will release the burden from the buses. And their data shows currently the subway will carry 190,000 passengers per day, and in the midterm it will reach 200,000 passengers per day. But for the peak seasons, it may reach 300,000 passengers. So in future, the bus corporations and subway corporations will work on that so that to reduce the buses for the long distance and let the passengers choose subways instead of the buses for long distance. We saw one sign with a main stem in the middle, that is the subway of Lanzhou, and there are other branches on the main stem. Those are the buses. Okay, due to time limitation, we will finish today's live broadcasting by now. See you on CGTN.